The next bus is not real. Do not board. What time is it? I don't know. I did know. It was 11:55 p.m. I lose motion to talk properly when I'm tired. Although this would have definitely been an overreaction. At most, it would have taken an extra second to tell him the time. But I wasn't really thinking. I just wanted to get home, ignore all social interactions. I didn't even look up to see this man's face. He left without saying anything, limping as he walked, leaving me alone at the bus stop, waiting for the final departure of the night. A minute past midnight was the usual time on the schedule, although it's almost always late, despite only ever having a few passengers at most. My late shift at work had me used to these empty hours of the night. This specific part of town lacked in nightlife entirely, leaving little reason to be out after dark. The shops were long gone closed, waiting for the bustling environment of the next morning. Until then, they remained silent. Some had their lights on all night long, spilling echoes of life into an otherwise interactive street. If the rapid occurrence with me at this bus stop, it would take a long while for that news to reach me. As I continued waiting for ever late, never arriving bus, these are the kind of thoughts I would have as I wait in the dark for the bus. The occasional breaks in these thoughts were often caused by me checking the digital sign above me, displaying an estimate time for the upcoming departures, expecting to see 5 minutes, or perhaps more delayed 10 minutes. I hadn't planned on having to read the whole sentence, so I finished checking the sign. Only then did my mind realize that it had not even seen a number. I checked the sign, but did not comprehend the context. My double take showed me what I had missed. The next bus is not real. Do not board. I stared for a moment before I looked around. As I expected, I do not know. Perhaps some pranksters giggling at their work, or more sinisterly, a shadowy figure looming over the guide of this paranormal event. Nothing. I saw nothing. The same street I had become familiar with had nothing new. It remained empty with me as its only sign of life. So I waited. It was 11:59 p.m. by this point, so only 2 minutes remained. On time for what have seemed like the first time ever the bus arrived. A single minute past midnight, and there was pulling around the corner approaching the stop. I put my hand out to signal I need to board, feeling relieved that my only way home hadn't been canceled. But the bus approached. I noticed the dark interior. The headlights were on, but the lights inside were all off. I could not make out whether any passengers were on board, or even who the driver was. Being a regular, I know most of the final route drivers, but this time it was anybody's guess. I got into the bus, putting down the same change I always do. Bit dark, isn't it? Nobody replied. As the doors closed behind me, the bus continued its way forward. I smiled awkwardly despite knowing that the driver could not see me. I found a seat. I never found out whether there were any more passengers, but I can only hope that nobody else had to go through these next events. Almost immediately, I noticed stops being omitted from the route. A turn missed here, a completely wrong turn taken there. A panic set in that I had somehow gotten into the wrong bus, despite knowing for a fact that the bus I always get is the only local one that runs this late. Convincing myself that the unfortunate series of road closures had occurred, I remained calm and waited it out. After 10 minutes of this, we had circled back to the stop I had boarded at. In front of us, I noticed the more normal bus, the bus I was supposed to board. The lights were on, and with a few passengers, it was waiting at the stop. I spoke slightly louder than the rumble of the engineer. "Excuse me, can I get off? I'm on the wrong bus." No answer, as we only passed the correct bus. I could see all the passengers inside, staring ahead. My gaze followed theirs, meeting at the ambulance, parked just slightly in front. A small group of paramedics leaned down in the beam of the bus headlights, surrounding a body on the floor. I couldn't make out the body's face, as it was just out of sight, although one leg looked twisted. The passengers looked distraught. The bus driver stood ahead of the paramedics. I stood up. "I need to leave at the next stop." As I spoke, I pressed the bell, and the only sign of internal light lit up at the front of the bus, stopping. The sign immediately turned off. Subsequential bell pressed. Neither made the sound nor lit up the sign. "I need to..." The bus sped up suddenly, to force pushing me back into my seat. As I tried to stand up again, the wheels screeching as they turned a sharp corner without seeming to slow down at all. Again, the force pushed me back down. The speed continued to rise. The wheels on the bus went faster and faster until the outside world suddenly became blurry. I had never seen a car go this fast, let alone a whole vehicle on the road as large as this. I thought for sure that I was gonna die there. "What are you doing?" I found myself yelling out in of panic. The driver, for the first time, spoke. "I don't know." My mind raced almost as fast as my body was being thrown about. The world beyond the windows soon emerged into a void of black, although the effects of our speed were still evidently on my body. As the velocity pushed me in all directions, it felt as though we had somehow gotten even faster, although this may have been the darkness forbidding my eyes, as many refer to our true speed. We came to a sudden stop as it fell forward. The fall was violent, but still not as bad as you'd expect for a speed change of the image. My nose hit the floor, causing a great deal of pain. I stood up, holding my face, trying to gain my balance. As the dizziness subsided, I began to notice where I was. We were outside my home. The bus stopped. I got off at this a 5-minute walk from here, yet here we were, directly outside of my house. The doors gently opened. Despite my desire to leave as fast as possible, I found myself walking to the front of the bus. As I reached for the door, I stopped. Turning around slowly to face the still swathed in darkness bus driver, I spoke, as I always do. "Thank you." I stepped into the pavement outside as the doors closed behind me, followed by the bus driving forward into the darkness. I looked down at my watch. A minute past midnight.